Thornwood Thunderbirds have curried on this year behind seniors Moss and Buckley. Lanphier Lions are counting on Iguodala and McBride to carry them on to Saturday's semis. Next on the IHSA television network. Welcome back to Carver Arena in Peoria, Illinois for the last set of games in the quarterfinals for the IHSA Boys Class AA State Basketball Tournament. I'm Lisa Aprati with the IHSA Television Network. Very happy to be bringing you game number 3. The Thornwood Thunderbirds are back from their second place mark last year, losing to the Schaumburg Saxons in the state championship game. Tonight they will try to advance once again, this time against the Lanphier Lions, who are on an 11-game winning streak. For more on tonight's game, here are your announcers, Dave Bernhard and Doug Altenberger.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And for those of us who checked the IHSA website or picked up the papers on Wednesday morning and wanted to see what maybe the best matchup was in the Elite Eight this year, you probably looked at this game right here. Lanphier and Thornwood. Doug, this really should be a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game tonight. Both these teams come in here not just looking to be happy to be here, but they are in a mission to win the state championship, and look for both coaches really to come out hard.
Not an easy road for either one of these two teams. First of all, for Thornwood, this game tonight marks their first time that they have gone outside of the SICA Conference, knocking off Homewood, Flossmoor, and Thornridge. That's the third time they had to beat each of those two teams out of their own SICA East Conference, and then they went to the SICA West and up into the United Center in Chicago, and in the Super Sectional beat top-ranked Joliet by a point. It took a tip-in at 15 seconds left in the game to win that one. As far as Springfield is concerned, in their own sectional, they struggled a little bit to get past Lincoln, and then avenged last year's loss in the sectional finals to Mount Zion, a game in which Andre Iguodala had 39 points and 12 rebounds before going to ISU on Tuesday night and knocking off a very tough Pekin swatting game that Pekin actually had a couple of opportunities late to tie up that ball game. But nevertheless, it's the Lions and the Thunderbirds here tonight, and as you get to this point, you figure you're going to see some great players. Well, indeed, we have some all-staters here in this ball game, one for each team that we'd like to feature right now. First of all, for Thornwood, David Moss.
Yeah, and I love David Moss. Here's a guy that is very calm and collective against Joliet. He played extremely well, hit some big jumpers for him. He's their leader. Had a chance to talk to him, and you know, they're on a mission here. They want to come back and they want to win the state championship. So he's not going to be happy just being here.
You want somebody to put people into seats or keep them in front of a TV? Well, then you keep your eye out for Andre Iguodala for Lanphier.
Well, they love to go up-tempo. They love to get that transition game, and if they do, this guy is a dynamic dunker. I mean, he can do everything out there, and it's just going to be fun to see his athletic ability out there. So they're really going to try to go push the ball and let him get in the open court, and when he does, he's very dangerous.
It's a lot of things that are very intriguing about this game, above and beyond the fact that you have two of the finest teams in the state. But as you take a look at these two teams, there are those subtle differences. So let's take a look at tonight's keys to the game.
And when we first look at Lanphier, they're going to want to go that full court press. They love to force turnovers, 20 plus a game, and they've got to be careful. Don't have a lot of depth. They've got to keep out of foul trouble. On the other hand, against Thornwood, they're a little bit different. They've got to go a little slow the game down a little bit. They've got to handle that pressure, control the tempo, and did what they did against Joliet, hit those big threes. They hit some clutch threes down the stretch.
This game here marks a couple of teams that have been around a while. In fact, Doug, these two teams are under the microscope.
Yeah, and they have been under the microscope. So the pressure, they're used to it. Thornwood, everybody knows they got second in state. They get the best every night. Joliet, ranked high all year. They've been under the microscope. Their coach is used to it. So look for both teams ready to go right from the get-go.
This place will start to fill up in a big hurry because you have yourself a great quarterfinal matchup in game number 3. Westinghouse and New Trier have already punched their tickets into the state semifinals. Who will join them here in this one? Will it be Thornwood? Will it be Lanphier? We'll find out next. But first, we have the starting lineups, the national anthem. But we pause for these words from your local stations. Thornwood and Lanphier, 27-4, 30-1. They've made their way to Peoria. As we take a look to see how far they had to go, we'll basically draw a line through Peoria, South Holland, Peoria, Springfield, and that's where they will meet. The Thornwood Thunderbirds ranked 12th in the state in the last regular season poll of the Lanphier Lions. They are ranked number 2, and they were ranked number 1 most of the year until suffering their only loss of the season, that to Peoria Richwoods. Well, the Thornwood cheerleaders are ready to go. Lanphier as well on the other side. And now let's go to our public address announcer, Paul Herzog, for tonight's starting lineups.
Good evening, basketball fans. On behalf of the city of Peoria and the Illinois High School Association, welcome to March Madness, America's original March Madness, here at Carver Arena. This quarterfinal game features the Thornwood Thunderbirds and Lanphier Lions. At this time, we ask you to please stand. Remove your caps and address your flag with your hand over your heart as our singer, Amanda Majeski from Underline Carmel, leads us in our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave?
And now let's meet the teams in this quarterfinal contest. For the Thornwood Thunderbirds, a 6'3" junior, 15, Maurice Montgomery. A 6'2" senior, 23, Joe Pasiga. 6' junior, 24, Eric Gray. 6'4" junior, 25, Byron Waller. 6'4" senior, 33, Chris Jones. 6'8" senior, 40, Justin Williams. 6'4" junior, 44, Larry Welton. 6' junior, 45, Larry Olivier. And 6'9" senior, 50, Jeff Briney. Now let's meet the Lanphier Lions. 5'9" sophomore, 4, Tyler Klunick. 6'1" senior, 5, Robert Zuloff. 6'3" sophomore, 12, Terrell Pearson. 6'1" senior, 15, Wade Stubbs. 5'9" senior, 22, Brett Fager. 6' senior, 31, Eric Christine. 6'2" sophomore, 32, Lance Dickerson. 5'8" sophomore, 42, Mario Taylor. 6'4" senior, 44, Willie Dorr. 6'5" junior, 52, Mike Francis. And now let's meet the starting lineups. One of 4 forwards for the Thunderbirds, a 6'7" senior, number 30, Melvin Buckley. And a forward for the Lanphier Lions, a 6'6" senior, 41, Andre Iguodala. At forward for Thornwood, a 6'3" senior, 32, Pierre Thomas. The other forward for the Lions, a 6'3" senior, 50, Nikos Scott. Another forward for Thornwood, a 6'5" senior, 34, David Moss. One of 3 guards for Lanphier, a 6'1" senior, 21, Tony Smith. The fourth forward for the Thunderbirds, a 6'5" senior, 35, Cornelius Jones. Had a guard for Lanphier, a 5'9" junior, 23, Adamala Adeniji. The guard for Thornwood, a 5'9" junior, 20, Jeremy Allison. Another guard for Lanphier, a 6'3" junior, 33, Richard McBride.
Coaches for tonight's ball game, no strangers to each other. Both of them coached in the Chicago area at one time. First of all, Kevin Hayhurst. Doug, he's got experience down here. It wasn't only a year ago he was here.
Yeah, and he's a guy that, again, he's got a veteran ball club, looking forward to coming back here, and you know, you won't have to worry about them being nervous.
As far as Craig Patton is concerned, of course, first trip that he has made the journey here to Springfield. He has some other things on his mind related to that, actually.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, here's a guy that has been, like we talked about, been under the microscope, and he's looking forward to getting back here, and he's got 2 guys, all-staters, and they're on a mission.
Our officials tonight, Fred Allman, Thomas Flynn, and Wayne Layer. Well, it's interesting, we heard Paul Herzog in the starting lineups. These 2 teams, gone are the days you traditionally have the 2 guards, 1 center, 2 forwards. You hear for Thornwood, they play with 4 forwards. That's how they like to call it. And as far as Springfield Lanphier is concerned, they say we have a 3-guard offense.
Yeah, the one thing about Thornwood, you know, they can go real strong or deep into their bench, and they've got a lot of interchangeable parts. So for Thornwood, you're going to see a lot of different lineups out there.
Randy McKean, Administrative Vice President for Nevco Scoreboards, the honorary ball tonight. And you can just feel and hear the anticipation inside of Carver Arena. Some people think that one of these 2 teams certainly could win the state championship. There's a few other teams that may say differently, but some good team is going home tonight. Richard McBride, a 2-time All-Stater, will give off the right side to Tony Smith. This is the first touch for Iguodala. Nico Scott. And everybody touches the ball. First trip down the floor. McBride's long one misfires. Good quickness from Smith. Adeniji. Iguodala, he can drill it. Good block out inside by the T-Birds. Jeremy Ellison now on the first possession for Thornwood. David Moss wants to go baseline. Melvin Buckley had a big tournament down here last year. They will not rush their shots.
Very patient offensively, and they'll move that ball and move that ball. They did that against Joliet in the super sectional.
Pierre Thomas on a fadeaway. And Thornwood Thunderbirds draw first blood. You will see McBride and Iguodala play all over the floor. Adeniji, they leave him open. Get used to that. There will be contact here tonight. Here are your starting lineups tonight's ball game. We mentioned the 4 forwards for Thornwood, 3 guards for Springfield Lanphier. Jones, Moss, Buckley, Allison, and Thomas. Really, Jeremy Allison, the only guard on the other side. You can call Iguodala anything you want. He'll go anywhere.
That's the shot, not the shot that Thornwood wants. Really, if they don't have the numbers, pull it back out. Be a little more patient. Don't shoot that quick shot. Obviously, Lanphier really wants to get that full court press and get the game a little bit more into transition. If it's a more high-scoring game, that's going to be in the favor of Lanphier.
Cornelius Jones works the baseline. Once again, bodies on the floor. We'll go the other way.
Well, a lot of contact here down on the end. Scott and Jones really going at it hard, and both ends, matter of fact.
Let's listen to the contact. Cornelius Jones works the baseline. Obviously, Cornelius didn't care for the call, but right now, Lanphier a chance to get back in the game, tie this game at 2 if they can knock one down here.
Yeah, you don't see that usually in Jones. He's more of a set shooter than a guy who puts it on the floor.
And an Agee with the lob. Iguodala.
Yeah, good defense. When you go against a team like Thornwood, you're not going to be able to put the ball on the floor like Iguodala does. If they do, you're going to see a lot of dark blue jerseys around him. Good team defense.
Here's where Lanphier's dangerous. Thornwood, no problem. Allison. Here come the Lions. Richard McBride all the way to the rack. And the foul.
That the guy's 6'3", but he looks a lot taller than 6'3" out there. He plays really tall.
Buckley, bring it up.
That's a key for Thornwood. They got to step up and hit those big threes, and they're a team that lives and dies behind that three-point line.
They had 10 made three-pointers against Joliet in the Super. Long rebound, Iguodala to track it down, finds a man inside. Tony Smith, what a great look from Iguodala.
And Smith has been open. They've got to look for him. You know, you want McBride and Iguodala to get their shots, but they're leaving him wide open. Make that extra pass.
A little too strong for Buckley. They'll say the foul was on against Adamola Adeniji. We have a timeout on the floor. 5-4 is the Thornwood lead, and we'd like to remind you that this IHSA broadcast is brought to you by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. Thornwood calls South Holland their home, located in Cook County. Sitka East Conference is their conference of choice, undefeated in the conference this year. On the other side, Springfield Lanphier plays out of the Central State 8, of course, located in our state's capital of Springfield, Sangamon County. You see the enrollments, 2,300 and 1,300. You wonder how much of that 2,300 is that gold and blue t-shirts right there. Of course, the Lanphier Lions, they've got all of Springfield behind them. It's been a while now for a Springfield team to make it down here. It's the first time that Lanphier's been here since 1985. Of course, they won the state championship back in '83. Moss to trigger. Here, Thomas has become more of an offensive threat as this season has gone on. He's working on Smith. The steal, McBride. Thornwood will go the other way. Thomas. Unable to take advantage of the breakaway miss by Richard McBride, the All-Stater.
And McBride is a little frustrated offensively. Had some good looks, didn't go down, and he's got to hustle back on defense. Don't worry about that. Those shots will go down.
Iguodala posts up. Finds Nico Scott. That's a pair of assists now for Andre Iguodala.
And those guys, Smith and Scott, will be open. That ball goes inside. Nice look by Iguodala. It'll look for the open guy, slash it to the bucket.
They break the pressure. It's a 2-on-1. Allison, open. Iguodala the board. And here's the big man running the floor. Smith again up top. McBride, long range.
Got a questionable shot. They can get that shot anytime off the offense. Maybe a little more patient offensively.
Buckley. Full shooting stretch here. Moss outfights McBride for the rebound. A lot of quickness on the floor. Here's a quick one, Adeniji. Blocking call goes against the Thornwood Thunderbirds. Lisa Prati standing by with some of our fans here tonight. Lisa?
Dave, I've got a group right here from Thornwood. They are the Thunderbirds, and they seem to be the loudest group that's here. Actually, I think they're louder than the cheerleaders on the floor right now. This is Aaron, and Aaron, you got to tell me about this paint. Where'd you guys get the paint from?
Man, they bought it for us so we can go paint ourselves, so we can get hyped for the game. And I like it.
Are you guys hyped for this game?
Yes, I'm hyped.
You think Thornwood's going to advance?
I think they're going to advance.
I think we've got a lot of inspiration right here, Dave. Back to you.
Yeah, and I also think he's a little breathless.
He's
going to start hyperventilating.
I hope that paint's non-toxic because he's in trouble.
Both teams starting out very cold here. Lanphier making just 27% of their shots, 3 of their first 11. On the other side, Thornwood only 2 of 7. That's 29% shooting.
Dave, I think both teams have come out and tried to do a little too much. Need to be more patience out there. You know, athletically, you're not going to get, I mean, these teams are too good defensively to get easy shots. You just got to have a little more patience. They seem to be rushed out there. Everything is forced. They're not letting the game come to them. And even the 2 All-Staters for Lanphier, I think they've taken some questionable shots. And Thornwood right now really trying to, you know, they got some opportunities. They seem to be, you know, don't know whether they want to go for it or sort of pull it back. They're sort of in between, and they've got to make a decision here.
The half-court set, the Lions over the back. Foul called on Justin Williams, a 6'8" senior. Kevin Hayhurst for Thornwood will go 8-9, possibly 10 deep. And he will bring another man off the bench. Number 15, Maurice Montgomery, will come into the game. He'll replace Pierre Thomas.
And Dave, he's got enough, you know, guys starting or coming off the bench. They all have a nice defensive presence. He doesn't lose much.
That's the second foul on Williams.
Back up 24, don't reach over.
Low-scoring opening to this game. Again, this is a Lanphier team that averages nearly 80 points per game. Smith's a good shooter if he can find room. Iguodala gets inside, 3 men around him. Iguodala will go.
Boy, he had guys just draped all over him. That ball went inside. There was 3 dark blue jerseys all over him, and he just stayed with it. Great second effort, and he flipped that up there with his left hand, and you know, that ball goes inside. He's not going to have too many good looks, but you see how creative he was, able to get that shot off.
That now becomes the 3rd foul on Justin Williams. A 9-5 lead now for the Lions. Here's where they're dangerous. On the steal. Ahead. Smith. The block inside. McBride. He's going to shoot 3.
Well, you can see when they're able to make that basket, then they're able to set up their full court press, how much more effective they are. And they get the turnover. They force over 20 turnovers again for their opponents. And you can just see their eyes light up as soon as they get that turnover. That ball's going to, they're flying all around, and they love that open court.
Richard McBride, last year as a sophomore, was an All-Stater. He was the most valuable player in the Central State 8 Conference. And again, an All-Stater repeat selection this season. And he's got another year left. He's got this lead up to 5 right now as Craig Patton looks on. Says it to Nico Scott. McBride knocks down 2 of 3. Been a long time since Thornwood has scored.
Yeah, Dave, I was thinking the same thing. They've really gone cold here. And that full court press, you know, when you make the baskets, you get the setup, you get the free throw line, and you could see all of a sudden Thornwood really struggling with the press right now.
Good job defensively by Nico Scott, forcing Cornelius Jones to travel. 9-point run here for the Lions. On the baseline. They're going strong inside.
Yeah, Dave, and that's what I was just going to say. They're starting to get the ball inside. Early on, they took some quick shots from the perimeter, but now they're getting more confidence, and they're a little more patient, getting a good look inside. And again, now they get to the free throw line. They make the free throw. They set up their press again, and when they do, they've been very effective.
This is a team, as Andre Iguodala had said, they like to play like Duke. In other words, they like to come out strong in the first quarter and really send a message. And in fact, Springfield has averaged 20 points per game in the first quarter, outscoring their opponents 20-11 in that first 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's amazing that they play this way. They don't play a lot of guys. They don't go deep in the bench. Springfield Lanphier doesn't, but it seems these guys are in tremendous shape to play this way for the whole length of the game.
David Moss has been quiet tonight. He has it now.
Now, sometimes when you have to go against pressure, you don't always get to run what you want to get it to the guys you want. So give Springfield Lanphier an A+ for getting them out of sync offensively.
Jeff Briney into the ball game for Thornwood. He's a big body, big presence inside. Can't get the three to go. Briney strong inside, and he finishes. Jeff Briney, a 6'9" senior, only averages a 1.5 per ball game. Against Joliet, he came into the game and changed the tempo, physical play from Briney.
The big fella sneaks in there again. When you're trapping and you're extending your defense, that's hard to match up. And he gets loose underneath and uses that big body, that 6'9", 240-pound frame, and gets to the free throw line and finishes off. Nice three-point play.
And that breaks the scoring drought for Thornwood. They've cut it back to a 4-point game. Five players on the perimeter now for Lanphier. Scott will post up inside. Coaching staff for Lanphier saying to clear out for Iguodala. That's a clear out. It's 3.
And that's tough for Jeff Briney to come out there and guard a guy of his talent that far from the basket. He looked over at the bench, said, "Need some help, coach."
Andre Iguodala with his 7th point of the night. And Iguodala just picked up his 2nd foul. That is a number we will keep an eye on. He's run into a little bit of foul trouble here in the postseason. And I believe that Craig Patton will remove him for the final 43 seconds here. We'll bring in Terrell Peterson, a 6-foot sophomore, so obviously it changes the complexion of the makeup of the team on the floor for the Lions.
Hey, you talk about experience. You go from a senior to a sophomore.
Moss with the pick away by Adeniji. Ademola Adeniji takes it all the way. And all 5 Lions starters have scored. That's the 7th turnover of the first quarter for Thornwood. That's exactly what Lanphier wants to do and what they have done all year.
And against Joliet, they had 17 turnovers. Thornwood did.
Allison out of control. McBride's rebound ends the quarter, and a good one it is for Lanphier. They lead it after 1, 17-8. We'll be back to Carver Arena after these words from your local stations. Carver Arena. Dave Bernard along with Doug Altenberger. Lisa Frati is standing by with a very interested observer. Lisa?
Dave, I'm standing next to Kevin Gamble. He used to play for the Celtics, the Heat, as well as the Kings, 10 years in the NBA, but he is also a graduate of Lanphier and played on the '83 state championship team, and this has to be exciting for you to be able to follow Lanphier here downstate.
Yes, it is. It's very exciting. It's been 19 years ago. We went down there and won the state in '83. It's a lot of fun seeing these kids come down and play basketball.
Is the competition that you see now, is it similar to what you played back in '83?
I think it's a little different. These guys, you know, basketball has went mainstream. They see they see every game on TV, college basketball, pro. So they see a lot of different players. I think it's a little bit different. Guys, you know, now they have the crossover dribble, a lot more one-on-one. Back when I played, it was more structured.
Does it look similar to the NBA because they're just so strong inside? It's a very physical game.
Yes, some of those guys out there are well put together. And I know when I was in high school, you know, I weighed 185, 90 pounds. Some of these guys are out there well over 200 pounds, so it is a little different.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much, and it's great to see you here at the state championship game. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Lisa. And, of course, Gamble involved with Ed Horton, a couple of dynamic players for Lanphier during that state championship ball game. Richard McBride picked up his second foul, so both he and Iguodala have a foul. Melvin Buckley picked up a bucket to make it a 7-point lead now for Lanphier.
And Kevin talked about how skinny he was. I played against him at Iowa. He beefed up fairly quickly, and he was a tough competitor and had great success not only in high school but in college too.
First half statistics find Kevin Hayhurst's team shooting just 27% from the field. Now that's a team that shoots 48% normally.
And they struggled behind the three-point line, 1 for 4, and that was something that kept them in the game against Joliet. Haven't had a lot of good looks, and that's what pressure does to you. It makes you rush your jump shots.
Antonigi pressure Thomas near the half-court stripe.
Yeah, that guy just keeps going. I don't think he ever looks like he gets tired. I mean, he's working hard out there. Tough shot.
That's twice now. Ellison's got himself caught in the air and really not had an opportunity to give himself a chance to score.
Yeah, 5'9", 140 pounds, going in there among the trees. You got to go in there a little stronger. Look to dish the ball to Thomas or Moss along the blocks.
Lanphier looking to push this to a double-digit lead. McBride saw something, but the Thornwood Thunderbirds were inside. Here comes Buckley. Melvin Buckley will go to the line. The foul was called on Terrell Pearson.
That's I'm sorry, Dave. That's one of the few times that they've been able to turn over the ball. Lanphier's only got two turnovers in the whole game. And a lot of times when you're forcing turnovers and you're playing the tempo that they are, you kick the ball out. And Lanphier does an excellent job of taking care of the basketball. They average just a little over double digits in turnovers. So that's really an amazing stat. It's like a 10+ turnover margin. And most teams, if you look at, they got +3, +4 is a good stat.
1 of 2 for Buckley. He has 6 points. Lanphier now in the opening parts of this second quarter playing without Mr. Andre Iguodala. He has a couple of fouls. They leave McBride in with 2 personals. But what a luxury this is for Craig Patton to be able to put his big guy in a bench and still maintain this 8-point advantage.
And that's a real luxury he's got right now with, like you said, the big fella on the bench and be able to just keep this lead. And
Tony Smith, he can shoot it. Rebound inside. Chris Jones stolen. Smith finishes. Turnovers lead 2 points.
Well, they're having a real hard time, Thornwood, with the quickness of Lanphier. I mean, it is just creating havoc for him right now. They're shooting quick shots, and they just seem to be really disorganized offensively.
Moss follows his missed 3 with his first bucket of the night. Smith. Both teams been cold from outside.
And it seems like they get to every loose ball. You know, if there's a ball in the court, Lanphier just seems to be a step quicker.
Pierre Thomas trying the tough defensive assignment to McBride. He pulls up. Still can't get it to go. from three-point range. Moss, they leave him open, and he makes them pay.
Well, we talked about him in the open. He's their sort of their leader. He's their calming influence. He's become much calmer, knocking down the three, the two earlier. 5 points here within 15, 20 seconds.
Iguodala at the scorer's table. He'll come in the next dead ball. McBride, nice catch. McBride with 8 points. And another turnover. Blocked out of there very nicely by Chris Jones, a 6'4" senior. Timeout on the floor. We'll take a break from Carver Arena. We'll be back right after this. Lions from Springfield, Lanphier. As we check our programs to make sure we have the right teams in this game and the game coming up. And of course that would involve Moline and Centralia, that game immediately following.
We talked in the open here about Lanphier's ability to get in the open court and make steals. They've got 6 steals already. And you're looking at guys like Smith and Adeniji. I mean, these guys are super, super quick. I mean, Thornwood is used to playing against quick teams, and they are really struggling right now. They haven't seen anything like this in a while. You can just tell.
Adeniji does not score much, misses badly on that one. Buckley scraps. Now we'll go to Lanphier. Jeff Briney back into the ball game for Thornwood.
Well, you can see Craig Patton yelling at his guys, get the ball inside. We're in the bonus. No easy shots from the perimeter. When you do that, let them off the hook.
Scott goes inside and a turnover. Ahead to Moss. Iguodala there with him. We've not seen Thornwood go to the bench as much as Kevin Hayhurst normally does. Pierre Thomas will go the distance. They work their way back to 5.
That's one thing about Lanphier. They play in spurts. Team like they do, they'll throw 8, 9, maybe in a row at you and then settle down. So Thornwood does a nice job blessing themselves offensively.
Smith looking for it. Thomas on the run. Iguodala the steal. A 3-on-2. Nico Scott running the floor, and he should run the floor. The best football player in the Central State 8 Conference, the running back, gets up and down, and Iguodala finds him.
I mean, these guys, as soon as they get that steal, I mean, they look north and south. I mean, they just fly up and down that court. Scott does a good job of getting to the spot, and they're extremely quick, and they react quickly, and they look for that steal, and they live and die off the up-tempo pressure that they play defensively.
Eric Gray will come back into the ball game for Thornwood. He is a long-range threat, and Adeniji will get a breather. First appearance of the game for Tyler Klunick. He's a 5'9" sophomore. As we take a look at Nico Scott. The lead goes back to 7. Nearly a 5-second call. Gray, he can hit it. Riney has the rebound taken away. Here come the Lions. McBride leads the break. Pass from Scott. Boy, do they handle the ball well, going full speed.
I mean, it's just amazing. They get that ball down the court, and then they've got like a delayed break, Dave. All of a sudden, then you see the good look by Smith going in there. So even though the ball, you get that initial stop, the rest of the guys just feed into the slots and get to that open court. They slash the bucket so well.
McBride, a little bit of a bailout there. He was a little bit in trouble on that baseline drive. Remember, McBride and Iguodala both playing with 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, and I'm Thornwood. You're going to go after those guys. And it's tough to do that when you go against that full court press to get organized offensively and go after the guys that are in foul trouble. It's easy, you know, when you're looking on your sofa and you're looking at the TV and say, hey, let's go at those guys. But when you've got guys like Scott and Smith and Adeniji coming at you, flying all over the place, it's very, very difficult.
Double figures for Richard McBride. He's reached 10. 6 of those points coming from the free throw line.
Yeah, Thornwood's got nobody in the middle of the court, and they try to throw it up the baseline, and they get the wrong guy to get it. Jeff Briney's not the guy you want to have the ball 30 feet from the basket.
Iguodala the bounce. Smith, great fake. Tony Smith with 6 points.
Yep, they're a completely different team when they get that steal and that turnover offensively.
Kevin Hayhurst will take a 30-second timeout. His team trails by 11. And you have seen what the hype is all about. Lanphier Lions ranked number 2 in the final regular season. They show they can score inside, outside on the break. They get the good pass from Iguodala. Remember, this is a team that only lost 1 time this year net to a very good Peoria Richwoods team.
Yeah, when they get that steal, they come down offensively. They get a sense of urgency. They know where everybody's supposed to be. It's almost like they anticipate the steal, and everybody runs to the basket looking to make a layup or something, and they run completely different than, let's say, you slow them down. They're half court. Talked to Craig Patton before the game, and he said, boy, we hope we can get this game up into the 60s and 70s range. We feel much more comfortable at that scoring level.
They have 29 right now, and the difference is 11. Moss, tough shot. David Moss headed to Indiana State University.
Boy, they got a steal from this guy. This guy, he's a terrific basketball player.
Interesting, because last year Melvin Buckley transferred to Thornwood, and he actually took David Moss's spot in the lineup. Moss said, okay, you know, better man beat me out. This year, of course, they're both there. Moss headed to Indiana State, Buckley to Purdue. Again, the feed inside. Iguodala to Scott.
Boy, Scott went up strong. I mean, he got Thornwood got a hand on the ball, but didn't phase him at all. He was able to finish that shot off.
That is the 12th turnover here in the first half for Thornwood.
Yeah, and they're doing this against a team that has a lot of experience. There you see Thornwood 11-game win streak. But, you know, they're doing this against a team that got 2nd in the state. You know, they've had a lot of experience. They did well against Joliet in the Super Sectional. So this isn't just some new team that's not used to seeing this. They're doing this against a darn good basketball team that Lanphier is.
Iguodala. Very important last minute 30 here for the T-Birds. Ellison to pull up. Lunik to track it down. Oh. Now the numbers in Lanphier's favor. Smith loads up, knocks it down. Tony Smith has given Lanphier a 34-20 lead with 60 seconds left in the first half.
Wow, I am shocked by the pressure that Lanphier, how they've just literally, you know, destroyed Thornwood here in the first half. I mean, this is impressive full court basketball. I haven't seen a press like this since Iowa with Kevin Gamble. He must have taught him a little bit of something about it. Play that full court press.
Iguodala to come out in the final 55 seconds of the first half.
A smart substitution. Don't want him to get his 3rd foul.
Smith to Adeniji. Thornwood pressuring here. Maurice Montgomery into the game. He's looking right into the eyes of McBride. And they hang on for the next 25 seconds. Ananiji retains possession. And still hangs on. They've got to go now. They just realized, and this is the best shot they get. A very dangerous play there by Chris Jones, nearly a goaltending. But what a first half for Lanphier. 17 points in the first quarter. Chalk up another 17 in the second quarter. They lead 34-20 at the end of the first half of play. The Lanphier Lions will make their way into their locker room feeling pretty good about themselves. And another guy that feels pretty good is standing by with Lisa Prati.
Dave, I'm here with Coach Patton, and Coach, up by 14, you've definitely taken Thornwood out of their offensive game.
Yeah, I think our press has hurt them, thrown off their balance a little bit. They've come up with some quick shots, but we just got to keep our big players, McBride and Iguodala, out of foul trouble. Hopefully we'll be all right.
How do you keep up the same intensity, though, going into the second half?
Well, this way we play all the time. We like to press on defense and transition baskets on offense, so they've been used to doing this.
Okay, great, Coach. Thank you very much. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Lisa. And Craig Patton could not have drawn it up any better here in the first half. His team has forced 13 first-half turnovers, and they have a 14-point first-half lead. We have a lot coming up for you here at halftime from Carver Arena, but first, we'll step aside. We'll be back after this.
Wow, the heart of their team's got.
Lanphier in the lead 34-20 to Thornwood, and joining me from the Star newspaper is Pat Disabato and Brian Frangella. They both write for the sports page there at the Star newspaper, and you've been following Thornwood now all year long. And Pat, tell me, with the SICA East being as tough as they are, tell me a little bit about how Thornwood fared against them.
Well, I mean, this is a team that's won the SICA East 2 consecutive years with undefeated records. So, I mean, 10-0 2 years in a row in that conference is just, what an accomplishment. A testament to the conference's success is the fact that 3 of the 4 teams were in sectional finals. So, I mean, that says pretty much about that conference. It's an excellent conference.
And Brian, you've been following them also, and you talk about teams like HF and Thornridge. I'm sure you were at those games. Tell me a little bit about how Thornwood played 2 of the top teams in the SICA East.
Well, the way that they played them was just simply aggressive and with a lot of emotion. Anytime the SICA East, every game almost is considered a rivalry. None of the schools really get along, but it's a friendly rivalry, and they really want to beat each other, especially because it's considered one of the top conferences in the state. So it gets pretty emotional, and the scoring is down because defense is at a premium.
So when you're watching this game today and you're watching them, it's kind of amazing to see Thornwood down by 14, but they did have a couple tough games throughout the season that wasn't part of the conference. They were just games that they played outside the conference, and I believe one of them was against Whitney Young.
Yes, and that was a game they didn't fare very well against either. But to Thornwood's credit, the games they lost non-conference-wise were games they played on a Saturday night. So they'd play a very emotional Friday night home conference game. Then Saturday they'd have to go on the road and play a very difficult non-conference foe. So I think emotionally they might have been a little bit spent in those games, and that's not an excuse. It's going to be interesting because Brian and I have been talking. We don't remember the last time Thornwood has faced a deficit at the half. They haven't during the playoffs at all, so how are they going to respond to this? It's going to be interesting.
Which leads me, Brian, right into my next question. When they come back here in the second half, what do you feel they're going to need to do just to actually play equally to the team right now?
Well, they're going to have to stop the dribble penetration. One thing Springfield Lanphier has been able to do is penetrate the lane with a dribble, and then they can dish it off, and they're getting easy baskets inside. Another one is they're going to have to find out how to stop that. They're in a lot of foul trouble inside with their big men, and so they're going to have to use a little athletic double teaming, maybe Jeremy Allison coming down and Pierre Thomas to do double teaming, but Springfield can also shoot the 3, so it's a tough task for the second half.
Pat, when you've been watching them throughout the season, have you seen a team that Thornwood has played that's just as quick as Lanphier is here tonight?
I don't know. I mean, Bloom's a very quick team. Shepard's very quick and athletic, but I think, and Brian alluded to this, is the fact that they have so much flexibility. I mean, they can get you inside, outside. I mean, Scott and McBride, they can take it inside or out, and they're a very difficult team to defend. And I don't know if they face a team of this caliber. I mean, you know, they have 2 kids that are all-state, McDonald All-Americans. I mean, it's good. It's a difficult team. I don't think they faced anyone of this caliber, and that's not taking anything away from the East because there are some exceptional players in the East. But this is definitely a different strategy they've had gone up against, no doubt about it.
Thank you very much, Pat and Brian from the Star newspaper. We're at the halftime right now. We'll be back with second half action right after this. Lanphier in the lead, 34-20. We'll be back right after these local messages on the IHSA television network.
Second-ranked team in the state, the Lanphier Lions, putting a hurt on the 15th-ranked Thunderbirds from Thornwood. We're at halftime here at Carver Arena. Back with you, along with Doug Altenberger. I'm Dave Bernhardt, and before we get a look at those statistics, Doug, you know, we were both at the United Center on Tuesday night, and we watched a very quick and physical Joliet team match up with Thornwood. They did force 17 turnovers, but it just seems like Springfield covers more of the floor than even Joliet did.
Yeah, Adeniji, here, this guy is quicker than quick. You've got Scott and Smith, all these guys. I mean, they get out in the passing lanes, and they're very impressive. That full court press, I mean, they destroyed a very good Thornwood team. They've got to make some adjustments on Thornwood. They might want to come back with 3 guards here in the second half and try to make some adjustments.
Let's take a look at those first half numbers from tonight's third quarterfinal game of the day. Take a look at the shooting statistics along with the free throws. Both teams shooting pretty well, but obviously you talk about the outside game. They're getting inside. That's why Lanphier shot 12 free throws.
Yeah, and fortunately for Thornwood, Lanphier wasn't too good from behind the three-point arc, or this game would be way out of control. But rebounding pretty much the same. Assists, you see there again, that's Lanphier from throwing that extra pass, getting the ball inside.
There's the big number, 13-3.
Yeah, and also a lot of those were forced turnovers. I mean, you had 8 steals, but those guys were starting to throw balls where people weren't, and they really got rattled there in the first half.
Okay, so if you're Kevin Hayhurst, you're in the locker room. We'll hear from Kevin in just a little bit. What do you say? I mean, if you've never faced a team like this before.
Well, there you see some of the scoring too, but Moss and Buckley and those guys. But you know, all those guys had big turnovers. McBride with some points there. But if I'm Thornwood, we're going to come back out. Let's settle down. Let's just, you know, take it one step at a time. Let's not try to get the lead all back in a couple series here. I thought they shot some quick shots. I thought they tried to play Lanphier's tempo. They need to play their tempo, slow it down.
One of the keys to the second half could very well be the foul situation. Both McBride and Iguodala with 2 personal fouls, but they played most of the first half with that very situation. Well, we've got Lanphier back on the floor warming up. They look pretty warm there in half number 1. We've got more coming up here at the half from Carver Arena. But first, these words from your local stations. 24-20, your halftime lead for the Lions from Springfield over Thornwood. Let's go now to Lisa Prati, standing by with Kevin Hayhurst.
Coach Hayhurst, down by 14. Obviously, Lanphier giving you a difficult time penetrating inside. What do you do here for the second half?
We just got to handle the ball against the press. You know, they've got 12 points off their press, and if we don't handle the basketball, then we're going to be in for a long night. If we get past the press, I think we can score, and they have a hard time against our half-court defense, but the press, we got to handle the press.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Lisa. It's pretty simple, right? We have to handle the press. First half highlights. First of all, Pierre Thomas got things going early for Thornwood. They led 5-2 early in this ball game before Lanphier went on a 9-0 run. Melvin Buckley, this guy can shoot it, but he hasn't really been the major factor, Doug, that maybe we thought we'd see.
Yeah, Buckley is more of a set shooter, and I think he had a hard time with the pressure. Moss really didn't get going until towards the latter part of the second quarter before he really felt much more comfortable out there. And then Buckley at times took over, but both those guys really struggled with turnovers. The core of Thornwood's team had 9 turnovers, and you're counting some All-Staters. The big fella, Jeff Briney, came off the bench with some valuable points, which they need, a shot in the arm. There's a great move by the All-Stater. He just didn't get a lot. They just could never get organized offensively. That's why, right there. And you see the speed and the quickness of Adeniji. He was just all over the court. And McBride was just, he was spectacular and had some great moves in the interior, and he was very active all over the court. And even though Iguodala didn't score a lot, I thought he really did a nice job there of assisting. He had 4 assists. He leads his team, and he looked for that open guy. And that's a sign of a true great player. When everybody converts on you, you're able to get the ball to the open spot. And then you see McBride again. He had more success down low than he did. And then you see Nico Scott, he was very effective too, especially in the transition game. He got down there, got some easy baskets.
You saw every one of those Lions players contributing just in that highlight package. Kevin Hayhurst to have a seat. He's got to do some planning. His team has to do some executing here as we start the second half. But first, we'll let him think about it for another 60 seconds. We'll be back after this. We are ready to begin half number 2. Lanphier in possession of the ball, the 14-point lead. They look to move into the semifinals where they would join Westinghouse and New Trier. Iguodala with it along the left wing. Drops inside nicely to Smith, who converts, and that's something we've seen Iguodala do. He has a couple of field goals tonight, but his assist numbers are adding up.
Yeah, that's his 5th assist, and Smith does a good job. As soon as his man leaves him, he slashes to the basket.
Maybe not the best move that time from Cornelius Jones, and here's the break. Scott wasn't there, and he finds a man in a white jersey. Trailer, Iguodala. McBride posting up. When you're Richard McBride, you're a 6'3" All-State guard. You have the big body. He's just a junior. That does not look like a junior's body.
Yeah, no, there's no question he's got a big-time body on him. I mean, he's a Division I type player, and he can, you know, right now they're having a hard time matching up with him inside, and they get some inside-outside action with Iguodala looking to shoot that 3-pointer. Nothing there. He pumps it inside. And good look inside. Good post-up by McBride.
McBride stands 6 feet 3 inches.
That's amazing to look at him and think that he's only a junior. He's got another year in high school.
He has a dozen points, and this is an 18-point difference. It's now 20. Andre Iguodala, he is in the slam dunk contest tomorrow. He puts one home there, and it's answered on the other side a little more conventionally by Cornelius Jones.
Even when Thornwood scores like that, that falls right into the hands of Lanphier. They want those quick shots, move the ball up and down the court. They don't mind giving up a couple of easy ones. They can play this type of style.
Pierre Thomas, kick out Buckley. Iguodala got a hand on it. Allison from the backside. 5 on 3 if they wanted it.
Well, they did a great job of getting back defensively. They had the numbers and they hesitated.
Buckley rattles in a tray. He has 9. A 15-point difference, 40-25, opening couple of minutes here in the third quarter. Quarterfinal game number 3, Centralia and Moline to follow immediately here in the IHSA TV network. Tony Smith went hard to the bucket, maybe a bit too hard.
Yeah, Thornwood now trying to come out with a little more three-quarters full court press, not quite like Lanphier does. See a good job of slides in there, takes the charge, and again, Thornwood's a very well-coached team defensively. You're going to go in there out of control. Someone's going to step up and take the charge.
Allison can't get the bounce off the rim. Boy, and even on that, Doug, when you saw that Thornwood had the break, somebody gets a hand on the ball. There's always just something to disrupt the flow, even when you've got a fast break opportunity.
Yeah, and there's times where Thornwood looks like they've got the rebound or they've got the loose ball, and you see a white jersey come out of nowhere. I mean, they just seem to be, just like we talked about, a quick stepper. I mean, a step quicker. Easy for me to say out there, but I was never that quick.
Okay.
That's probably why.
Scott beats his man to the ball. Smith is fouled. Lanphier coaching staff would like a goaltending call, not to be.
Doesn't hurt to try or to ask. They do a good job again. Do a nice job of looking for that open seam, and the guys get to that. They just slash to the basket.
Swatting it away was Justin Williams. Williams a little bit of foul trouble. He has 3 personals.
Boy, Tony Smith has just come up big for Lanphier offensively.
He is called by his coach, Craig Patton, the X Factor. Everybody pays all the attention to Iguodala and McBride. All of a sudden you look up and here's Tony Smith. He has 13 points tonight. They will get Adenici with the push. They only allow 5 white jerseys on the floor at one time, and they all seem to be by the ball every time.
And it just seems like as soon as you relax, they're relentless. I mean, they just keep coming at you with that pressure, and their hands are in there, very active, looking to try to force a turnover or steal or make something happen, just like that.
McBride pulls up. Off the shot clock atop the backboards here at Carver Arena. Coming to you from the Peoria Civic Center. Last week, of course, Pleasant Plains in Class A claimed their 2nd state title in the last 3 years. We're in the AA Boys Championships this week. And Williams with the flush.
And that's what happens when you get down by 15 at Thornwood is you've got to start to play the style that Lanphier wants. I mean, they dictated the tempo.
Open floor, and Smith finds the opening.
And Thornwood's not a great pressing team. They don't feel that comfortable with it. They're more of a half-court set. And you can see they really struggle with even putting on the full-court pressure. And they leave the guy wide open underneath the basket.
Moss gliding. McBride running. Iguodala did not quite have the angle. Here comes Buckley. Melvin Buckley. Williams, second chance. Justin Williams, 4 quick points. But they cannot break this 15-point barrier midway through the third quarter. Pierre Thomas, a little stutter step. Buckley, big if it goes. It does. Melvin Buckley, his 3rd three-pointer, has pulled Thornwood within 12 at 44-32.
And the reason they've gotten back into this game is poor shot selection by Lanphier. A couple times down, they tried to force it. It's a fine line when you play like them. You want to put pressure on them.
They'll get Adenici over the back. Craig Patton not liking the flow of this game. And we have a timeout on the floor. We'll take a break and be back after these words from your local station. From high atop Carver Arena, we go down just a little bit and catch up with Lisa Prati.
Dave, I'm here with Linda Shanklin. She is the mother of Andre Iguodala, and you have to be so impressed with the team this season as well as your son.
I am very impressed that these guys have worked really hard. They stuck together as a team, and I am very, very proud of them. They are just doing a wonderful job.
Now, I know Andre does a lot of conditioning off-season, but he also works with Kevin Gamble, so he's getting a lot of expertise from a former NBA player.
Exactly, and the thing is with Andre is that he just made another shot. Andre loves the game, and he knows the game so well that, I mean, it's like he's always looking for more and more to build his game, and that's the good part about Andre. Andre loves the game of basketball.
Well, I know Coach Patton had made a comment saying that Andre was a good player last year, but he's turned out to be a great player this year.
Right, over the summer, Andre got an opportunity again to work out with Kevin Gamble through the summer with the AAU team, and he had an opportunity to build on his game and to mature as an individual, and he has just really came into his game and into his maturity as an individual, and he has just done fantastic, and he's not through.
I can see that. He's doing a great job. Okay, thanks, Linda. Back to you, Dave.
Boy, Lisa, you need to find a few more mothers of parents, because when you talk to them, they produce. Iguodala with the bucket, and then the assist sandwiched around a Melvin Buckley score. 48-34. We've been sitting at this lead. It was 14 at the half. And McBride will be looking to take Maurice Montgomery one-on-one. Instead, they'll give it off to Smith. And an Ananiji, Scott, Iguodala. Big first step from Iguodala. Looking to draw a foul, no whistle. Thornwood would have possession on this jump ball situation. Eric Gray will come back into the game. Craig Patton wondering why he did not get a foul call on somebody hacking his All-Stater. I love sitting close to the bench.
Yeah, you get to listen in on everything. They're having a debate with the officials.
Jeremy Allison, a chance for a three-point play. Allison that time flying through the lane. That time he had a good look.
And you see Kevin Hayers come out with more of a quicker lineup. He's got Allison and Gray in the lineup. Two guys at 6 foot. And they're quick, and they're little jitterbugs out there. That's what they need, some speed and quickness to stay up with Lanphier. Good idea.
Inching a bit closer. 11 points the difference. Pride backs in the little man. Fall away.
And that's what happens when you go for the speed and quickness. Gray's got to match up with McBride. He gets caught. Good identification by Lanphier, and they get the ball inside. He's able to finish him on.
Allison picked up that dribble just in time. Buckley sees an opening, takes advantage. Melvin Buckley now with 16 points, 10 coming here in the third quarter.
McBride didn't want to get his third foul, though. Let him go. Good idea. More important not to get in foul trouble. Give up a bucket there. Got beat along the baseline.
Now, one thing to keep an eye on is, of course, Lanphier averaging 80 points per game and their opponents 54. They've won a lot of games by the time the third quarter came around. They play 5 people. Thornwood has been able to rotate a little bit here. Some of the players, Buckley and Moss, have stayed in. Keep an eye on potential fatigue here as Gray gets clubbed in the mouth by McBride.
Yeah, a lot of physical contact down there. And Dave, that's a good point. Thornwood has got a lot of depth and experience. And you see Gray right there. He took a shot. He took a blow to the... I don't know if he got hit in the nose or...
Well, Thornwood's not too happy about it because Gray, I think, will be called for the foul. McBride a little bit frustrated. Just kind of, moved around very quickly and caught him right in the chops.
Well, that happened. He initially got called for the foul. Then the ball went in there, and it was after the fact that Gray got the blow, but it was something by accident. It wasn't anything on purpose.
matchup here. Iguodala, chance for a three-point play. Andre Iguodala, great body control, able to hang, get contact, and still have the control to score.
Yeah, Chris Jones does a good job of staying with it. Finally goes for the ball fake, and he was really working him over and gets inside. And finally, Greg Patton was really working the officials the last couple times down, and he finally gets the call this time for his first team All-State.
Chris Jones to have a seat so that Kevin Hayers can bring Gray back into the game. Iguodala finishes the three-point play. He has 14 points, and here's your balance from Lanphier. As Andre Iguodala's parents take a look on, they've got to like what they see. They see their son's team with a 14-point lead. Now cut to 11. Eric Gray. And the three-point shooting now, Doug, starting to come back into it a little bit for Thornwood.
And I think that's a good idea by Kevin Hayers to come in with that smaller lineup. I think that they're much more comfortable handling the ball, especially the pressure, the full court pressure, and then these guys can knock it down behind the three-point line. Good adjustment.
Final 20 seconds here in the third quarter. See if McBride goes one-on-one here. Got some help defensively, Iguodala. Scott gives it up. Long range, Ellison. And there's still 3/10 of a second left on the clock. Well, they say was there a deflection, but we're still going to go long distance. They'll have to go the length of the floor in 3/10 of a second.
They won't be able to get a shot off, more of just a deflection, a tip in.
Right? I got it.
They're going long distance. That ends the third quarter. Well, Thornwood is able to chop 3 points off a 14-point halftime lead. Lanphier goes in leading by 11 as we enter the fourth quarter. We'll break from Carver Arena and be back after this. Make sure you stick around. Immediately following this ball game, we have the final quarterfinal game of the day. The Centralia Orphans taking on the Maroons from Moline. Moline making their second appearance in 2 years. Centralia, they were here in '98. Then it was about 35 years since the last time they made the trip. Their fans will be here ready to go, so make sure you stay right here. Tom Stocker and Bill Hitt will bring you Moline and Centralia next. Well, in that third quarter, Thornwood scored 22 points. That's 2 more than they scored the entire first half. I don't know, did they solve the pressure problems, or could we not expect Lanphier to keep up that defensive pace that they had in the first half?
Probably a little bit of both. It's very difficult to play at that level for, a long period of time. So most pressing teams like Lanphier will throw a run at you, a streak at you, then they'll set back, sort of catch themselves, catch their breath, then come at you again. So look for Lanphier again to come out real strong again. Their 2 All-Staters only got 2 fouls. They have some fouls to give, so look for them to be much more aggressive.
Lanphier 7 of 11 from the field in the third quarter. Iguodala gets it to go. Here are your stats through 3 quarters. And again, those shooting percentage boosted by 7-11 from the field for Lanphier in the third quarter. Thornwood made 9 of 17 shots. That's good for 53%. Thornwood only turning the ball over 3 times in the third quarter. Iguodala finishes a third 3-point play.
And Dave, good point. That's how they sort of got back into this game, by reducing the number of turnovers.
And yet Lanphier still holds a 14-point lead. Gray cannot keep the possession. As coming out here out of the break, you just feel a little bit more intensity picked up here by Lanphier.
And you can see that, because now they're coming out. You really want to establish yourself here in the fourth quarter, reestablish yourself, especially that full court press. Thornwood, the only problem they have on the press is they're getting no one in the middle of the court. If you want to break a press, get somebody in the middle. They're too spread out, and when you do that, when they have that diagonal pass, Lanphier's really anticipating, and that's how they're getting those steals.
Smith with the penetration. Boy, he covered a lot of ground.
The X factor.
17 points for X.
pretty good from here. That was right in front of us. Pretty darn clean.
That could have been pretty exciting had that whistle not blown.
Yeah.
That's the third foul on Iguodala. He picked up that second foul just about the midway point of the second quarter, and he has stayed clean until now.
And Craig Patton, he's working the officials right down here. He says, I like that steal too.
He gets a hand on another ball. He has such long arms, 6'6" frame, but such long arms.
Yeah, it covers a lot of distance. I mean, he's a guy that, you know, that he plays long, as they say, and more like a 6'8", 6'9" guy.
You say, well, where is he going to college? Well, it's somewhat to be determined. He had already committed to Arkansas, but of course, Nolan Richardson no longer there, and they're just going to wait till after the season to make their determination whether they will stay with Arkansas or try something else.
That's a smart move. Just take your time.
Well, my partner Doug Altenberger says take your time. He's referring to Iguodala in his college decision, and a second after you said that, the Lanphier coach says to Adeniji, take your time. Smith, left wing. Iguodala finds Scott back up top. Adeniji, not his shot. He doesn't need it. He's got quickness. That's his shot.
Now there's a guy that's, I mean, using his head right there. Doesn't take the three-pointer. Knows he's not a good shooter. Again, there's that diagonal pass that I talked about. You cannot throw that against this team. They're just the speed and quickness, their ability to react. They're like a bunch of safeties out there. As soon as they see that ball in the air, boom, they react so quickly.
30-second timeout called by Kevin Hayhurst and Thornwood. Coming to you from Carver Arena, and our thanks go to Bradco Supply Corporation and Owens Corning, makers of vinyl siding and shingles. They're both proud to be sponsors of this year's Illinois High School Association's State Basketball Tournament, the home of America's original March Madness. The best of luck to the Thornwood Thunderbirds and the Lions from Springfield Lanphier. Let's go now to our sideline reporter, Lisa Prati. Lisa?
Dave, I'm joined by Gary Meyer. He is the head coach at Bloom High School, and Bloom always had a big rivalry against Thornwood. How did you guys do this year and during the regular season?
We lost to them both times, but they were both close games. We lost by 8 at our place, and then we lost by 5 in the last game of the year at Thornwood.
Now you're watching this game against Lanphier, and you're saying don't rule Thornwood out because you've seen them come back before?
Well, they're pretty far behind right now, but I've seen them go on streaks where they'll make 4 and 5 3-point shots in a row. They can all shoot, so they do have the capability, but 18 points down with 6 minutes to go, it's going to be tough for them.
Okay, great. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Lisa. And again, simple mathematics, I guess, would tell you if they're 18 down, there's 6 minutes left. They're going to have to hit a 3 every minute, and that's hold Springfield scoreless, and it ain't happening. Lanphier just keeps coming. Tony Smith with 19 points. And he gets a hand on the ball again. Three different deflections, and somehow the Thunderbirds still have it.
Yeah, it seems like even though they got the ball across half court, but they don't feel that comfortable. Again, there's a quick shot by them, and when you get down by 16, you got to start making. You don't have that time, that luxury, you know, to take your time, and you can see that they're getting right into the point range that Springfield Lanphier, above 60 points, and the more that he could get, the happier he'd be getting. He looks like he's going to hit that maybe 70 or 80 range.
They scored 17 in the first quarter, 17 in the second, added 19 in the third quarter. Good look inside. Smith with the bucket, Adeniji with the assist.
Well, if you got a scouting report right now, you've got to put your body on Smith. He is all over the place. He really reacts very well when his all-staters get that ball. He knows where to go, to the hoop.
Moss on the offensive board.
And he really hasn't been that much of a factor. They've really taken him out of the game pretty much with that full court pressure.
Talk about a scouting report. If you're taking a scouting report, you better write fast. There's a lot of people out here that do a lot of things for Lanphier.
And they do this with not very many guys, too. That's the amazing part. Usually in this age of basketball, this day of basketball, you go with maybe 8 or 9 guys when you play this type of style. So tremendous conditioning these guys are under.
It'll be very interesting to see, assuming they do advance here with 4 minutes left here in the fourth quarter, leading by 20. Be interesting to see how they handle this big point as Nico Scott will hammer it home after Iguodala gives him the assist. Iguodala comes up limping. But it'll be interesting to see, playing on this big collegiate floor and playing basically 3 games in a span of 24 hours, how that all shakes out as Iguodala comes limping off to the sidelines. We will check on the condition of Iguodala, but we have a timeout on the floor. Big lead. It's 22 for Lanphier with 3:43 to play here in this game. Well, probably a good time to put Andre on the bench right now. Get that thing wrapped, get it iced. Looks like they're in pretty good shape here, Doug.
Yeah, Iguodala, he looked like he got a little cramp there. Again, a great transition. I mean, he is. You forget about a guy of his ability. Let's go in here and hear him, Greg Patton, talk to his guys.
Now, bring the ball down here now. Start setting picks and come off the screen. They'll try to run a good offense, okay? All right, anything else? All right, let's finish hard. Let's play hard. Hard on 3, hard on 3. Got me. Okay, now once we get in there, great job. Hey, work the ball. Top of my keep bag. Your force spread. Wait. On each side. Don't pass the move. Be difficult to guard. Now listen. Go ahead. Look for the back door, though. Let's play the outside. Go back door. Look. We can get it to the
I really dug the most interesting comment out of that. I thought was Kevin Hayer's comment. Let's play hard. Let's finish hard. Peoria Lanphier, you want a safe spot to coach as long as you win. 4 coaches, 60 of the last 65 years. Bob Nyka is the one that has the state championship. Arlen Lober made several trips here. Craig Patton, his first journey here to the state finals. That is security. Talk about things not happening at a certain day and age. That's one right there.
Yeah, there you see longevity, no question about it. And a lot of times here, even in high school sports, you see where guys move around. It's nice to see that a program established like Springfield Lanphier.
Our pep band this afternoon and this evening for this quarterfinal session out of Warren High School, Gurnee, Illinois. Warren High School band. Christopher Jenkins is the director. Saw a couple of those guys before the start of today's sessions. One of them has their school colors painted in their hair. I can't relate to that at all. Can't relate to that at all.
Well, that guy would be tired. I mean, they've been blowing the pipes there for a long time, and you see Kevin Hayworth talking to his guys, and he's basically saying, hey, let's finish with some pride. You guys are winners, and let's go out as winners, and let's play hard, and let's forget about the score.
Fans here that have made their attendance in person here in Carver Arena, and I assume that all of you at home as well are coming away duly impressed with Springfield Lanphier. Of course, Lanphier ranked #1 early in the season. They maintained that ranking to losing to Peoria Richwoods. There's some people here that are all of a sudden starting to think, okay, Westinghouse, New Trier, Lanphier, how's this thing going to shake out tomorrow? Of course, we expect you to be right here for the semifinals at 11:15, and of course, championship night beginning at 6:30 right here on the IHSA television network.
And the one thing about Lanphier, though, if you can handle the basketball, if you got a couple guards, and it's easy to say, and you take that initial blow, they come at you hard. Thornwood, see, they weren't able to do that. Every time Lanphier came with the hard press, as we say, Thornwood really struggled. And they did a little bit better when they backed off, but if you could take that initial attack by Lanphier and then hang in there, most teams have struggled that. There's only one team so far this year that's been able to do that, and that was Richwoods, Peoria Richwoods.
David Moss will give it up to Allison. And even now, with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left, Lanphier makes it so tough for you to score. They can't penetrate.
Yeah, right now they're playing like it was the first 2 minutes of the game.
Moss finally reaches double figures with 11. He joins Buckley. Buckley with 16 points tonight. Those two combined for about 27 points per game. So that's where they sit right here. One of the things we were wondering about is how would McBride and Iguodala play with foul trouble. That question's pretty much been answered.
Yeah, got a little scary there in the first half. They got 2 fouls, but I thought Craig Patton did a nice job of rotating those guys in and out and coach them through the third quarter without picking up any more fouls.
Smith slid his foot on the pump fake. Of course, Iguodala back into the ball game, so it appears as if it was more just a cramp than any sort of injury that would concern any Lanphier fans. I would say all the Lanphier fans back home, but I think most of them have made their way here to Peoria.
Iguodala does a nice job. Whenever he gets the ball, it's like he looks for Tony Smith, and Tony Smith knows that he's going to look for him. I mean, they work very well together, those two guys. Both are seniors.
You know, we've seen an evidence of it tonight. Who do you think leads this Lanphier team in assists? Well, it's the 6'6" All-Stater, Andre. 128 assists coming into this game. Richard McBride follows him with 111. You better keep your head turned to the ball when you play with these guys.
And that's what I love about an All-Stater. Now, guys, complete players. A lot of times you see guys who are great defensive players or a good three-point shooter, but very rarely do you see guys that can play defense. Iguodala goes out there. I mean, he's at the point of attack, all 6'6" of them, and I mean, he plays it hard on both ends, and love to see him give up the rock like that and lead the team in assists.
Got a quick look at Melvin Buckley. He may be done with 2:22 to play. Buckley's next competitive basketball will be played at Purdue University. Nico Scott will have a seat. Ademola Adeniyi was taken out just moments ago. Terrell Pearson in along with Tyler Klunick. Larry Olivier, number 45 for Thornwood, into the game. He's guarding the point. Right now, Craig Patton going through who does he want to have come out of the ball game and who does he want to sub in for them. It's the major decision. Actually, both these two coaches will be making right now with a 20-point difference. Running the spread, burning the clock. Also into the game for Thornwood is number 23, Joe Pasiga. Iguodala just breaks that 5-second call. He's being guarded by Justin Williams. Finally gives it up to McBride.
And Justin Williams is out there. Hey, wait a minute, don't you want me to guard this guy at half court? Are you sure about that?
Timeout called. We'll take a break as well. Back after this.
This is my country. These are my people. This is the world I understand.
It's not just talking about service. It's really knowing the people we serve.
I know them like the back of my own hand.
Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
One of your jobs when you come to the state tournament is just play the way you've played to get yourself here. And obviously, Lanphier's done that as far as defensively. 20 turnovers, that matches their season's average. And that's one of the pains of playing your last high school game.
Yep, it's, you know, these kids, they put it all on the line. They work so hard in the summer. And, you know, especially Thornwood has tremendous pride. These kids came down here and they just played against the Lanphier team that was just on fire. I mean, I don't think they could play much better.
Williams missed inside. The rebound pulled off by Robert Zuloff. We'll try to get as many of these players into the ball game as we can. Brett Bigger with the ball right now for Lanphier. He gives it off to Zuloff. Willie Dorr with it. Eric Christine, the dish inside. Looking to go to the hole and blocked on his way there was Wade Stubbs. 3-ball. Would not go down for Christine. Now Thornwood the other side. Running the break hard. Maurice Montgomery lobs to Williams. and his second dunk of the day. Christine has it blocked nicely by Pasiga. All right, they're just letting them fly right now. Get your minutes while you can, fellas. I don't know if there's going to be time to get everybody in this ball game. Montgomery into the corner, Olivier. And the bucket coming from Larry Olivier. Craig Patton calls a quick timeout. All he wanted to do was get a couple of more people into the ball game, and that is a painful feeling right there for Thornwood. They came down here last year, finished second to Schaumburg.
Well, that was funny. Number 42 for Springfield Lanphier. Mario Taylor went in, and someone must have tugged on the bottom of his pants. And there you see David Moss. He has nothing to be upset about, even though he lost this game. Tremendous guy's got very impressed with his character, the way he handles himself. His mom should be very proud of him.
And that will do it. Springfield Lanphier came in here and put on a clinic. The final score 66-50 over Thornwood in the state quarterfinals. Thornwood a little bit shell-shocked. They defeated Joliet in the super sectional, looking to come down here and avenge last year's second place finish at the hands of Schaumburg. But instead it was Craig Patton's team who will eliminate Kevin Hayhurst's club here in the quarterfinals. Thornwood to go home a little bit earlier than they wanted. Springfield, they came here with some business in mind, and boy, did they look like they were all business today.
Yeah, this year they forced 20 turnovers a game, and they hit it. They forced a very experienced and savvy team, Thornwood, into 20 turnovers. In the middle of this game, it was impressive. They really took them right out of their game.
And remember that you forced 20 turnovers in the state finals against a not obviously outstanding opponent. That's getting the job done. Craig Patton's got the job done, a little bit more relaxed than he was a couple of hours ago, and he's standing by with Lisa right now.
Coach Patton, great game. You're going to advance out of the semifinals, but talk a little bit about the game and the fact that Iguodala actually played the whole game in foul trouble.
Yes, he did, and you know, the thing about it, in the last 3 or 4 games, that's been our situation. He's been getting some foul trouble, so we got to make sure early. We're trying to tell him not to foul in the first quarter, so we can have 3 quarters left, but it doesn't always work out that way. But I'll tell you what a team effort. You know, just you look at the balanced scoring in halftime, and that's what the best teams are about, is balanced scoring and moving the basketball. I like the way we moved it there at the end and kept them off balance a little bit. Kevin Hayhurst is a great coach, and Thornwood had a great year, and we're just fortunate we played well and we shot well tonight.
Well, you did a fantastic job. Your defense did a great job, never really allowing Thornwood inside at all to get a shot off.
Yeah, we try to pressure as much on the outside so that you can't get the ball inside a little bit. I think our press had them a little bit off balance throughout their regular rotation.
All right, great, Coach. Congratulations, moving out of the semifinals. Also joining me is Tony Smith. He is the player of the game tonight. 21 points you scored tonight. Fantastic job. Talk a little bit about your performance and your team's.
Well, I'm proud of those guys out there. I came in here a little nervous. I was kind of scared of those guys, but we got the job done. So.
What had you heard about Thornwood that got you guys a little bit nervous about it?
We watched a little game tape of them playing Juliet, and they look pretty big, but came here and got the job done.
Now, I think a lot of people may be surprised overall from Lanphier, because me being from the Chicagoland area, I never really heard that much about Lanphier, but you guys definitely made a statement here tonight.
Yeah, I think our press was what killed them, and they couldn't handle our press too good. So.
Well, congratulations on a great game. Tony Smith, number 21 for Lanphier. They move on now to play the winner of the Moline Centralia game that's going to be taking place right after this. But we've got a lot more to come when you come back here. I'll send it right now back to Dave.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Very interesting. Tony Smith, simple analysis, Doug. He could sit right next to me, too. He says, I think our press hurt him a little bit. Yeah, I think he's right.
I think just a little bit. But the X factor out there, as Craig Patton calls him, he was just great. And Iguodala just did a great job looking for him. He had 8 assists to go along with his 17 points. So Lanphier comes out. Sometimes as a coach, you're nervous a little bit how your team's going to react coming downstate, and they acted like they were playing at home in their friendly confines.
So they will move on. 66-50 winners over Thornwood. The Joan Westinghouse, New Trier in the semifinals, and we'll find out who that fourth team will be, Centralia or Moline, and that comes up next. But first, these words from your local stations.